Hello, everybody. This is Sudha Jamthe, and this is the IoT show. Hope you all had a good holiday season, and this is our first show for the year. So I'm going to start Periscope here so that our friends from around the world who look at it on Periscope can also join us. So the exciting thing that's happening right now as we speak, today is Jan 7th, is CES, the Consumer Electronics Show that's happening in Las Vegas. And there is a lot of news about a lot of new stuff that's coming, a lot of reviews. So I thought I would dedicate today's show to share what I have found about it. And when I said CES coverage, I'm not sitting at CES. So I'm like you, but I just wanted to share my findings of what's interesting out there. And the people at Periscope have an advantage because I'm going to show some videos in the middle that they can see, and we cannot see it on Hangout, but maybe you guys can hear it. So the interesting news that I heard is we've heard about Oculus Rift from Facebook. Facebook has come out at CES and said that now it will be available, and they're going to charge $600, $599 for it, and it's going to start shipping from March. In terms of IoT devices, we have Quinton from anythings.co, who is there at CES. So if you catch him, say hello. He actually shared what he saw as the top 4 IoT devices out there. And actually, you can go see the IoT devices at anythings.co. So you can actually see what it is compatible with, what it will not work with, and whether you should buy it, and how to use it and stuff like that. So the hottest one that we've all seen all over Twitter is the Fitbit Blaze. It's from Fitbit, and it's a customizable fitness smartwatch. So it's not like the Apple Watch, looks like it, but it's focused on what Fitbit does, which is track our steps and health from there, right? So that does look cool and slick. I've not seen the real thing, so I can't really comment on that, but I'm going to try and get one. It costs about $200. Other than that, there are 4 other IoT devices. One is called, it's a ceiling fan, I think, internet connected ceiling fan. So you can, operate it using your phone and switch it on and off, and automate it to turn it on at different times and things like that. It's from Hunter Connect Signal, and that's expected, I think, to launch from February. Thank you, folks on Periscope. Who's this? Oh, somebody new joined. Hello. You guys can post a comment. You have that advantage. You can post a comment or ask questions, or send me some stars or hearts if you like what you're hearing. So the Hunter Connect Signal has a ceiling fan that comes at $400. If you've heard me talk about the IoT hackathon and my dream, I've always wanted to have, my lights we have, ready-made stuff from so many different players. I wanted my fan, not exactly ceiling fan, but I wanted the fan in my home to be internet enabled. I could control it and turn it on for my pet when I'm not home. So it's kind of a dream device for me. And $400 does seem steep, but I think there's so much technology in it, and I would like to check it out. Then there is the VThings Thermo, which is a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled body thermometer. So it's basically like a thermometer that we would use to check our temperature, but it's again Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled, so you can use it using your device. It looks this big, so I don't know how you would. It doesn't look slick like a thin thermometer. So this is one thing that I'm going to follow, because VThings has a whole bunch of home automation devices which are pretty cool. So I would like to go look at it and play with it and come back to you guys on what I find. And then there is a, I don't know how they pronounce this. It's NETATAMO, Netatmo. Somebody correct me if it's pronounced differently. Netatmo Presence. They have an outdoor security camera, and they're saying, hey, we can sense for cats and dogs and anything that moves around there outside. So there are many security cameras, internet connected, Wi-Fi enabled devices out there. I have one at my home. So when you look at one other device, that's the thing in the world of IoT. You see so many devices, and you see so many more of the same kind of devices coming up. And you might wonder what's the big deal. But the thing is, being able to, a camera is going to watch what's out there, but being able to capture only sensible information, or, things when they move, intelligently, in a more consistently, in a more accurate way, is a big deal. So like I have a security camera, and it captures rain. Now it's been raining, and it's not raining today, but it's been raining in California last couple days, and it captures movement of rain, and it just fills up videos for me. That's not super useful, is it? So I would like to know when there is movement of, a certain size animal or certain size person or something like that. So it's yet to be solved. So I would look at this NetAtmo presence and see, if it does a good job. So thank you, Quentin, from anythings.co for sharing these 4 devices. And other than this, there's a lot more. So these are basic IoT devices that are IoT devices out there, right? Other than that, there is a lot of buzz around. I think GM launched their Chevy Bolt, the electric car, and said that it would give 200 miles on a charge. So that's pretty cool. And FAA has basically come out, that is the Federal Aviation Administration, said about 2.5 weeks back, just before the holidays, said that anybody who has a private use drone should register it with the FAA. And the FAA has come out and said that in this 2.5 weeks, they have got 18,000 drones registered. So think about it, like cars in the street that we get registered from our registry of motor vehicle. Now FAA wants to register drones to know which are the drones out there in our space, and that number is like 18,000 in 2.5 weeks time. So we are out for an interesting times with a whole bunch of drones zipping up. It's not just a geek device anymore. So I'm a big believer of that. Before I get to a super interesting, the best part of the CES has been the Intel keynote. And before I get to the interesting piece clip that I want to show you, I want to show you something I did during the holidays. It's supposed to be in this direction, so let me show it this way. Hold on. I've got a phone in my hand where I'm doing periscope, so I'm trying to juggle this with this other hand. This is what it is. It is called a M-Bot. This was my holiday gift. It is a robo. It's more like an electronic kit you put together and build a robo, and then you can program it. It's more like a kit for kids to learn electronics and basic programming. And I got one of these because I teach some STEM classes for kids, and I wanted them to get this hands-on experience and play with it. So that's my cool gizmo, and it has a ultrasound sensor at the top. Thank you, Claire, for recommending this to me. This worked out good. I like it. So it has an ultrasound sensor. The eyes that you see in the front are ultrasound sensors. It has a light sensor. It has a bunch of things. And you can program it on different apps and stuff to move at different speeds and twirl and do different things. So I'm going to play more with it. So one of my motivation to share CES coverage when I'm not at CES is because we hear so much noise. So I kind of want to sift through that, especially related to IoT. The other thing is my book is out, and I'm going to show you that. The Internet of Things Business Primer. My book is out, and I am going to get started teaching my Stanford course on how to build a successful business with mobile and Internet of Things starting Monday. I have about 19 case studies in my book, and I see a lot of you buying it. So if you're listening and you're somebody who has seen my book, I would like to get feedback from you on which case study you liked. I actually collected a whole bunch of case studies by talking to real entrepreneurs, real businesses, and I ended up including only 19 case studies in here. So I'm trying to figure out what more case studies should I do. Like I basically go and play with the actual devices, products, go talk to the people involved in the companies who build them or who are in the process of building out a business with them, and come up with the case studies. And my case studies are usually focused, tied to how do you end up building an IoT product, not an IoT device. You build an IoT device, how do you make it into a product? and how do you take a product and build it into a business. So those two angles, right, from the device to the product, from the product to the business, what are the challenges? It could be that you are a new entrepreneur and you're looking to build something. So just because you build a device doesn't make it a business, right? How do you make it into a business? Or you are an existing company and like Oral-B, and they find that Colibri is come up with their IoT enabled toothbrush, and Colibri is at CES too. So you guys should check them out in their booth and say hello. It's one of my favorite devices, which is an internet enabled toothbrush. And so Oral-B has come up with their own version of an IoT toothbrush, threatened by colibris of the world. And so I cover those and help companies if that is something that you're looking at, that how is IoT going to impact your space. And so I have case studies related to that. So I'm trying to figure out which of these case studies are going to be the best to use for my Stanford class. So one of the things I'm doing is I would like your input on what more case studies should I be including. And if you've seen my book, I would like to get feedback on what you like. Obviously, you should give me a review on Amazon. Other than that, at my site, IoT Disruptions, I'm actually signing up and sharing, 5-6 key free case studies. So you can sign up there if you want to get more case studies. And you've signed up and not heard from me, I think you should ping me back because I've started sending out the case studies. Okay. So now I want to show you the interesting part of CES, and that is, where is it? Okay, I'm going to show this to the guys and girls on Periscope, and I'm just going to talk to it to the people who are seeing it on Hangout. And then I will add it back to the Hangout clip so you guys can see it later. If some of you are seeing the Hangout recording from YouTube later, I'll make sure that the clip gets added in there. Okay. So the Intel CEO had, Brian Krzanich. He had a fantastic keynote, and there was so much content in there about how Intel is innovating in so many dimensions, and that was there. That was very obvious in the all the stuff that he showed. But I'm just going to show you two things. One is
inviting me here today. So thank you for having me, Brian.
iRobo. So iRobo has a video conferencing unit that has the robo thing, which is kind of nice and tall, that walks around. And the iRobo CEO actually video conferenced.
Something very unique about these drones.
Second thing is the drones.
They also have
this
an
is
Intel
so
processor
awesome.
that helps these drones use the information from RealSense to see, think, and adapt. No more collisions. Guys, why don't you walk through the drones? You can see they put down their controls. The drones are adapting to them.
These guys are having so much fun.
Here, and we're going to play a little drone ping pong, simply moving the drone between us. You see the drone continues to try and stay in one position, but to keep it from going in the audience, avoiding us at all times.
That is the unique new
These drones can
Typhoon H.
avoid obstacles, and the fact is, the real world is filled with all kinds of obstacles. So we decided to build one here at CES, and we want to see if our drones can safely navigate through it. We call it our very own game of drones. What you see is the drone takes off, and Daniel will put the controller up as he just simply releases it and says, go from point A
so
to
I'm
point
actually
B.
showing the video from
He
CES
puts the controller up, and the drone's off on its own control.
Showing the
You'll
drone.
see it moving left to right, but not only is it moving left to right, it's having to move up and down as it avoids the obstacles that we put in its place. The drone's doing this all on its own. We could go in and change. If somebody wants to stand in front of that drone, they're welcome to.
They built a whole city-like
We
structure.
made one last obstacle to prove to you this is live. We put a set of doors at the end, preventing the drone from getting to its final home. So let's say we let the drone go home and we go ahead and open the doors.
Nice. So this is a drone from Unique. Unique is the name of the company. Unix. It's a new drone called Typhoon H, and DJI is the company which has actually been voted as the best drone so far each year for the last 3 years. And Intel has done extensive research and picked the Typhoon H from Unique, and it's actually at $1,700. I think they target Hollywood people to actually get buy these drones, and that's what we see in the movies because it has a little camera, and through all this obstruction it goes. And the claim is that even if one rotor breaks, the drone will still work. So that's what I wanted to share from the Intel keynote with you today. That's my book for those of you who are seeing it. I want to go back to the Hangout next. Okay. Okay. So far we saw, drone is a big thing we've been hearing about. So, there's so many drones registered, and this is yet another cool drone launch. There's the Chevy Bolt electric car, and I shared 4 different IoT devices. That's from Quinton from anythings.co, so you can go check them out there. And I have saved, and then I think the Oculus Rift we've been waiting for it to come, so that's in the coming. I have saved the best for the last. This is my view of what I think is super cool, awesome. Is typically in CES we hear about TVs, we hear all these like drones, anything that's electronic gadgets and geek stuff. We see it, and some of these we are seeing in early stages. Some of these are launched. They are launched, but they are early stage products, right? So we have to market test it, and it's more early adopter crowd. But we see them iterate over the years. That's typical in CES. And a company like L'Oreal does not usually go to CES because it's a fashion company. And why would they go to CES? Because what do they have? And what is fascinating this time is L'Oreal has a technology innovation center. And when you hear L'Oreal and technology innovation, what would you think? They are going to innovate with makeup or something, right? And what they have come up with, they have come into the world of IoT. Woo-hoo. And they have something called My UV Patch. It's a wearable, but it's a patch. It sticks on your body, and it actually tracks how much sunlight you're exposed to and how much UV light you have been exposed to. We all wear sunscreen, and only when we go to the beach or something, but we typically don't on an average day and forget about it. And this is actually tracking how much UV light you're exposed to, and you can track it using an app like every other IoT device. I actually think this is super cool. First of all, what fascinates me when I see any product is the utility, the use case of what it is doing is very unique, very different, and it's of value compared to a typical wearable which is tracking your fitness. And for L'Oreal to do that it's just brilliant innovation, because they're extending from what they know to do in terms of they have the fashion brand, and they have makeup and stuff, and it makes sense when you wear makeup which has UV SPF 15 or 30 or something, to have a UV patch, because we don't want we want to protect our skin. So it kind of aligns with their brand and their audience and everything else. But they've added the Technology Innovation Center to add the electronics piece to it. So it's not the same as creating a makeup that will have SPF 15 in it. Instead, this is a whole different game to create a patch. But because of that, I find that it's brilliant that they've got themselves into the world of IoT. I would like to test that out, and maybe I would like your feedback. If that's something interesting, then maybe we could do a case study on them too. So with that, I want to wrap up today. Thank you everybody for hanging around with me. From next week, we will go to our usual format with a guest and an in-depth topic of analysis. And as always, I would like your feedback on what you like, what you would like to see, and what is good. And I will see you next week. Bye.